Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. My name is Matt. I know this podcast is quite new, but some of you have been following along for a while now. As you may have noticed, the narrator has changed a couple of times already in just a few months. The truth is, the podcast has been growing extremely slow, and basically nobody has left us any reviews so far. I'm here as the new voice of the podcast and would love to stick around, but I need your support to do so. Please, if you enjoy our content, it would mean so much to us if you could just leave us a review on whichever podcast platform you use. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Hello, dear friend. I am Owen Thorne, and I invite you now to settle into a space of deep rest and calm. Tonight, you will explore a quiet glade beneath starlight, where the fairy queen's magical harp holds a gentle secret. As you nestle into your pillows, breathe in slowly and feel the weight of the day softly melting away. Notice any lingering thoughts or tensions drifting from your mind. Imagine them dissolving like gentle mist in the warm glow of evening. In your mind's eye, picture a calm forest path bathed in twilight. The air is mild, the breeze is a soft whisper against leaves. You hear a quiet hush, an invitation for tranquility. Feel your body sinking into a soothing stillness, letting all that is heavy or weary slip away. With each inhale, you invite warmth and peace. With each exhale, you release any worries that might try to stay. Now, take one more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Allow your eyes to grow heavier. Let your heart slow to a gentle rhythm. The stage is set, and your journey to the Enchanted Glade is ready to begin. Far, far away, past rolling meadows and across a silver stream, there lay an old forest known for its soft green light and gracefully arching branches. In a quiet clearing of that forest, a small figure walked, following the fading glow of twilight. This figure, a gentle traveller, had hair that glowed like early morning sun and eyes that reflected the colours of the changing leaves. With steps as soft as moss and a spirit guided by curiosity, the traveller moved deeper into the wood. Now, the forest was old. Its secrets were woven into the tapestry of each trunk, each leaf, each brush of wind against blossoming ferns. Not far ahead, the ground gently sloped down, leading to a hidden glade. Here, the world felt a bit different. The air was sweeter, carrying a quiet, luminous energy that shimmered in the twilight. The trees that bordered this clearing were tall and still, their branches bending in graceful arcs overhead, forming a living dome. A soft hush lay across the space, neither lonely nor empty, but peaceful, as if the forest listened to distant music that no ear had yet heard. There were flowers glowing with gentle luminescence, their petals in delicate shades of lavender, blue and faint pink, each shining like a tiny lantern, guiding wanderers toward the center. As the traveller entered, they noticed the heart of the glade was home to a large, round patch of plush grass. It looked more welcoming than any featherbed, perfect for resting under the starry sky. The hush of the place invited the traveller to slow down, to breathe, to listen. and so the traveller paused. Every muscle relaxed, and the tension from the long journey began to fade, replaced by an almost magical stillness. Each breath felt easier and deeper, as though the very air was imbued with softness and care. From somewhere unseen, the faintest glimmer of light wove through the twilight. Then, like a rising dawn, shapes emerged, tiny, dancing sparks fluttering among the flowers. They were fairies, delicate and graceful, no taller than a hummingbird, their wings humming softly in the hush of the evening. They moved about like living fireflies, weaving glowing trails that formed spirals in the air. The traveller watched, heart stirred by a sense of wonder. There was no fear, only gentle awe, for these creatures were as friendly as a lullaby. At the far edge of the clearing, hidden beneath a willow's cascading branches, something faintly glowed. The traveller's gaze drifted there, curiosity growing in the quiet hush. Moving with measured steps, feeling the tender grass beneath each foot, the traveller approached. Ivy and willowy vines parted to reveal a harp. Even in the dim dusk, its surface shone. Carved of what looked like pale moonlight given shape, it stood silent, strings unmoving in the warm breeze. It was tall and slender, with delicate tendrils of decorative metal swirling along its frame. Though no hand touched it, the harp seemed alive with possibility, as if at any moment it might sing. Around the harp's base, small fairies gathered in a circle, their bright wings beating ever so softly, stirring the air as they hovered close. One fairy brushed a tiny hand along the harp's pillar, yet no sound escaped. The strings remained dormant. It was a curious sight, an instrument so lovely and carefully crafted, yet perfectly still. Gently, the traveller reached out a hand, but thought better of it. Something about the stillness felt sacred. Time seemed to slow. Then, from behind a swaying curtain of willow leaves, there came the faint rustle of something approaching. Out stepped the fairy queen herself, radiant as moonbeams through a mist. She was tall, though not as tall as a human, and wore a gown that looked to be spun from shimmering starlight. Her hair caught faint glints of emerald and violet, and her eyes held countless stories, secrets, and the patient kindness of an ageless soul. She stood by the silent harp, placed her slender fingers upon its frame, and smiled. The fairies fluttered in reverent excitement around her, trailing delicate sparkles through the air. All at once, the place grew even quieter, as if the world drew a soft, collective breath. Slowly, the fairy queen ran her hand along the harp's strings. Though the traveller saw her fingertips move, the glade remained silent. No chord, no note, no vibration danced in the air. The traveller felt no disappointment, only a dreamy curiosity. They sensed that something meaningful unfolded before them, something ancient and full of gentle magic. The harp was silent, yet there was a resonance in the hush, as though the music lived just beyond the realm of hearing, calling the mind into deeper stillness. The fairy queen gazed upon the traveller with kind eyes and beckoned them closer. The traveller stepped lightly across the grass. noticing the subtle fragrance of moonflowers opening in the twilight. A sense of safety and wonder flooded the traveller's heart. Though no words were spoken, the fairy queen's expression and the glow of the fairies suggested a warm welcome. The traveller bowed slightly, respecting the moment's serenity. Then, with a motion as graceful as a breath of wind, the fairy queen gestured toward the silent harp. She brushed her palm across its strings once more. Though there was no sound, the very air shimmered, as if tuned to a faint echo of a lullaby from long ago. The fairies danced in the air, forming slow, spiraling patterns. The traveller's eyes grew heavy-lidded, lulled by the magical hush. In that moment, the fairy queen turned to the traveller, and her gaze said, "This harp has its own kind of voice. You must listen with more than your ears." The traveller, drawn by an unspoken invitation, carefully placed a hand on the harp's column. A quiet warmth spread through their fingertips, a gentle tingling that flowed up their arm, soothing and tranquil. Closing their eyes, they took a long, calm breath. Deep in that inward space, they felt the faintest vibrations. Notes of an enchanted melody wove through the traveller's imagination, bringing memories of starlit skies, hidden waterfalls, and the hush of a new day's dawn. Though the harp was silent to the ear, it resonated within the heart. It was as if the harp's music was not meant for the outside world, but for the listener's innermost self. Breathing evenly, the traveller allowed this quiet music to fill every corner of their mind. Images of distant hills covered in lavender, gentle streams winding through meadows, and soft lights dancing in twilight rose in gentle waves within. The fairy queen nodded, satisfied, and lifted her hand. The tiny fairies bowed and drifted away, their shimmering trails scattering like dust motes in golden sun. The traveller's eyelids felt heavy with the onset of a peaceful comfort. The queen led them away from the willow's veil, deeper into the heart of the glade. The evening sky had turned into a tapestry of sparkling stars, countless in their distant hush. The faint outline of a silver crescent moon dipped low, illuminating the clearing in a soft glow. Fireflies occasionally flickered among the blossoms, each flash like a playful wink from the forest. A plush bed of moss awaited in the middle of the clearing, resembling a gentle swirl of greenery that promised rest. The fairy queen motioned for the traveller to lie down, and they did so with gratitude, sinking into the moss's cool, comforting embrace. Overhead, the leaves of ancient oak and willow formed a living canopy, but through their boughs were glimpses of the night sky. Stars glowed there, like bright pinpricks in a velvet expanse. The traveller felt time stretch and dissolve. No hurry, no worry. Only the gentle presence of a timeless forest. Near the traveller's resting place, a circle of mushrooms glowed faintly, each cap shimmering with pastel luminescence. It felt as though the entire forest breathed in unison, quietly humming with a life that was at once magical and deeply serene. The fairy queen stepped softly around the glade, her gown brushing the grass with barely a sound. Wherever her gaze fell, flowers bowed as if greeting a beloved caretaker, and tiny forest creatures peered out from behind roots and leaves, wide-eyed with calm curiosity. The silent harp, still tucked beneath the willow's curtain, glimmered under the moonlight. Even from across the clearing, its presence reached out like a gentle lullaby, coaxing the mind toward ease. The traveller felt the intangible music within, a silent symphony that radiated kindness, comfort, and a hint of ancient wisdom. Slowly, the traveller closed their eyes to better sense it. Everything in the clearing, from the swaying blossoms to the faint tremor in the air, seemed in harmony. One by one, small forest dwellers emerged from the shadows. A doe, soft and graceful, stepped forward to nibble sweet clover at the edge of the clearing. A pair of foxes, sleek and quiet, peered out with gentle interest. Fireflies glided in slow arcs, weaving drifting trails that mirrored the starlight. The fairy queen watched them all, wearing an expression of contentment, as though this dance of night creatures was her cherished lullaby. Even the breeze seemed to hush, shifting only enough to carry the forest's comforting scents: moss, petals, and rich earth. Overhead, a shooting star trailed across the sky, so quick and silent it felt like a secret shared with those who happened to look up at just the right time. Everything invited rest, invited any weary spirit to slip into the calm embrace of that place where dreams are born in quiet wonder. The traveller lay with eyes gently closed, feeling the pulse of that silent music thread through their thoughts. It reminded them of a lullaby long forgotten, a quiet tune from childhood that once comforted them on sleepless nights. Here, in this enchanted glade, every breath was a lullaby, every heartbeat a gentle drum. The traveller's senses began to drift, lulled by the hush of the fairy queen's realm. Softly and gently, the edges of reality blurred into the gentle illusions of impending dreams. At length, the fairy queen knelt by the traveller's side. She extended a hand and lightly touched the traveller's forehead, as if bestowing a blessing of calm. As though no words passed her lips, the meaning was as clear as moonlight. Rest, dream, be still. In that moment, the traveller felt truly at peace, as if the silent harp's unspoken song filled their entire being with a sense of well-being and warmth. Now, the fairies formed a luminous ring around the clearing, their wings glinting like diamonds, their gentle humming reminiscent of a distant lullaby. Far above, a gathering of clouds moved across the sky, gliding past the moon. Silver beams of light fell in shifting patterns upon the forest floor, giving everything a dreamlike shimmer. Within this timeless hush, the traveller felt the boundaries between waking and dreaming fade away, replaced by pure tranquility. No conflict disturbed the glade that night. Each creature found its place. The doe dozed lightly in the shadows. The foxes curled up on a soft bed of leaves, and the fairies hovered in contented arcs before drifting away to nestle among flower petals. The traveller's breathing slowed to a calm, even rhythm. The fairy queen watched over it all, silent as a statue carved from starlight. Whenever she moved, her steps were so delicate that the grass beneath her feet remained still, as though even the ground itself respected her grace. In that languid space, time had little meaning. Minutes blended into hours, or perhaps it was just moments stretched out by the gentle magic of the glade. The silent harp, ever present and ever still, shone beneath the moon's glow, reminding all who saw it that true music can exist in moments of quiet. Sometimes it's the silence between notes that speaks the loudest. And so, while no audible melody floated through the air, the place was filled with a soothing resonance that calmed both body and mind. Gently, the fairy queen bent down once more, her eyes full of a soft, shimmering kindness that spoke of worlds unseen, times forgotten, and a love for all the gentle corners of life. She placed her hand near the traveller's cheek, just a breath away, as if creating a small barrier against any intrusion of worry. With that silent gesture, she blessed the clearing's hush, ensuring every spirit there would find rest. The traveller, nestled into the moss's comforting embrace, felt their consciousness slip further along the path to sleep. Dreams, gentle as morning mist, began to form, illusions of quiet streams reflecting starlight, of enormous moonlit caverns glinting with crystals, of silver-winged creatures who soared above ancient forests in blissful silence. Each dream was a wordless story guided by the harp's silent tune, the fairy queen's watchful care, and the innate peace of the forest at night. At the edges of the clearing, a gentle breeze picked up. It moved through the tall grasses like a whispered lullaby. Tiny ripples of moonlit green shimmered, bowing in unison. The traveller's breath hitched once, turning deeper, softer. A tender sigh followed. The fairies, in their contentment, drifted closer, forming another circle around the traveller. Their tiny lights glowed softly, like a chain of stars gently descending to protect a peaceful dreamer. The fairy queen stood, glancing at the silent harp beneath the willow. In one elegant motion, she raised her arm. The harp's strings quivered silently, responding to her silent command. No notes echoed through the clearing, yet a profound stillness wrapped around every living thing like a loving mantle. One by one, eyes closed in drowsy wonder. Creatures large and small sank further into the comfort of the moment. The traveller's mind floated like a leaf upon a slow-moving stream, carried gently by the warm current of the dream realm. Colours softened, shapes grew ethereal. All around, the hush of the forest embraced each living being, weaving them into a shared tapestry of quiet respite. Even the stars above seemed to dim ever so slightly, as if they too succumbed to the glade's serene influence. The hush was total, but it was a hush alive with promise. Promise of renewal, of gentle reflection, of peaceful slumber. The gentle hush lingered as the night stretched on, cradling the forest in an unbroken lullaby. No creature stirred in alarm. The only movement came from the slow rise and fall of breathing forms, and the drifting starlight weaving glowing patterns across the glade. Over time, a faint layer of mist unfurled, swirling in pale ribbons close to the ground, bringing a delicate coolness to the air. It curled around the traveller's resting place like a soft, pearly blanket. In this enchanted place, no worry could enter, no thought of tomorrow's obligations or yesterday's regrets. All that mattered was the present moment, the silent harp, the watchful fairy queen, the gentle fairies lighting the moonlit circle, and the peaceful traveller sinking deeper into restorative rest. The forest's heartbeat resonated with the traveller's own gentle pulse, merging them into the stillness. A sense of belonging, of absolute safety, coursed through the glade. As the night unfolded, the fairy queen's role slowly diminished from watchful sentinel to silent guardian. She stood, her expression calm, observing the traveller's serene face, the slowed rhythm of breath, the half-smile of one drifting into dreams. Silently, she offered a final benevolent nod, then let her presence recede into the background, leaving only the faint shimmer of a starlit gown and the hush of ancient trees. The fairies, too, having completed their role in this nighttime symphony, floated up toward the branches, each finding a soft petal or leaf to curl up upon. Their wings folded gracefully, and their tiny lights dimmed. Stillness laid a protective quilt across the clearing. The silent harp glowed in the moonlit hush, a gentle presence that neither demanded nor disturbed, only contributed to the tapestry of calm. If one listened with the heart's ear, they might perceive a lullaby that needed no sound, a lullaby made of tranquil dreams, quiet forest guardians, and the enduring comfort of night's gentle embrace. The night air grows cooler now, and the stars are a little brighter. The traveller's breathing is slow and steady, and a sense of deep rest envelops them. Here, in the final moments of the tale, the hush of the forest invites your own mind to drift farther into restful sleep. Imagine the soft moss beneath you, the gentle glow of fairy lights fading away. The hush is complete, and within it you find an effortless tranquility. Let each breath carry you deeper into that soothing darkness, where worries dissolve and peace is all that remains. Feel the weight of the day slipping from your body. Sense the warm hush around you, like a lullaby fashioned from moonlight and soft breezes. You are safe here. You can let go of your thoughts. Let them float away like leaves on a calm stream. There is no hurry, no rush. Only the silent music of stillness cradles you now. Each gentle inhale and exhale wraps you in layers of comfort. Your eyelids grow even heavier. The enchantment of the fairy queen's harp lingers, a constant reassurance that you are in a place free from care. In this final moment, the forest falls into deep slumber, and you too are guided into your own quiet haven of rest. Sink into the warmth, the softness. Let your mind wander into gentle dreams, guided by the silent harp's unspoken song. No words are needed here. Simply allow the night to lull you, to fill you with calm, With every slow heartbeat, the hush grows deeper until only the faint echo of your breath remains, reassuring and steady. Let that rhythm be your lullaby, soothing and tender, guiding you into a peaceful sleep. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.